You know, I was thinking about wearing shorts today on the podcast.
Chicken legs.
And then I was thinking, is there anything worse than an old man in shorts? I can't think of anything right off the top of my head, so I decided not to.
I had a thought, but I'd keep it to myself.
Probably good.
Probably good, yeah.
So this is episode 11. We're into the
Episode
double
11.
digits.
Yeah.
And now we've got, if this is episode 11, we've got 89 more episodes until we get to triple digits. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a long haul. There's no doubt about that.
Hopefully we don't lose some people on the way.
Yeah.
That's all right.
So
we're going there. The train's leaving the station, and whether there's 0 people on it or a lot of people, it's going.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we are doing it for other people to watch, but we're kind of doing it just to have fun, too. Something you and I wanted to do. I suppose we didn't have to buy all this equipment. And I suppose we don't have to turn on the cameras. We're just going to do it for ourselves.
Up here and did it by ourselves, but what fun would that be?
Yeah.
We want
to share it with those 3 other people that watch.
No, 3 people. BJ, Cal,
Ruben.
Shout out to Hunter DeWess if he plays baseball. He played baseball with us. He plays baseball with us. So he asked me the other day about it. So 4 people. So we're moving up. Mike Praviti, who's going to be our interview this week.
That's right.
He also watches every single one. So that was a fun interview.
There's other people. We won't say their names because we don't know if they want to be associated with this.
True.
They like the podcast, and sometimes people will make comments, but we don't want to make it a public thing here.
They might just like it out of courtesy for us, just to be kind, because those guys are trying. But we'll like it for them so that they don't feel so bad.
Yeah, and let's see, John will be here shortly because
he'll be here for our Todd's Tips segment.
Yeah,
just because we thought, why not?
Yeah. Do you think I'm being too harsh with my Todd's tough love, or do you think I'm being okay? I mean, because that's how I talk to myself. I talk to myself much more
I was going to say,
strongly.
The conversations we have are a little bit more.
I talk a little bit more firmly, just because. Because we have that
I need
relationship.
it, and you know what I need. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But what do you think, honestly? People don't know me.
I think you're pretty generous to people with how kind you are. You talk about it being tough love, and you give an insight to some of our conversations, but it's not like it's like a yelling match, but there's, you know what I mean, between you and I, it's not a yelling. We don't get mad at each other's throats or whatever, but I do think that there are times where if I get sidetracked with something or I'm having trouble mentally with something, whether it's just staying the course, you'll give me a little bit of a pep talk. I don't know how else to say it, but just that might be a little bit more of a, I don't know, father-son aspect that you don't necessarily bring in to here, which is whatever. But I think with other people, you're a little bit more easygoing on it, which is fine.
We don't have a relationship. I try to think, what is business like? What has business been like for me? What has life been like for me? But especially business, starting a business. It's like Bill DeWees, our business friend and voice for our podcast, always says, it's like marathon. It's a marathon. Starting a business is like a marathon. And so you've got to be tough mentally to run a marathon. That's 26 point something miles. And I did some
24.
I think it's 26 point something. Let's check on that.
Way more miles than I'm willing to run.
I've done that a few times, not a marathon, not officially, but I did back in the middle 80s when I was really into running. I ran a few times. I ran over 20 miles.
Why?
And good question. Just because I wanted to try it, because it's a mental thing. I wasn't running fast or for time or anything. I just wanted to go and try it. Anyway, business is kind of like a marathon race, and you got to be tough-minded. So anyway, we're going to talk today about the anatomy of direct email marketing, kind of put the skeleton, flesh and bones on what it looks like to do direct email marketing. So we'll talk about that. And then
Mike Praviti we had this week, part 1. Part 2 will be next week. And then we've got numbers as usual right after our Todd's tips and Todd's tough love. I had a pretty good week, capped off by a late job. Surge. Yeah.
Upwork job.
Yep. And then we'll talk about that more. And then Drew's got some more fun for us, just kind of a surprise again.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of a big surprise, but we don't know exactly what it's going to be like, but we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So
sounds good.
You want to get to it?
I want to
All right,
get started.
Let's do it.
Hey, this is Bill DeWees, pro voiceover talent and voiceover career coach. And this is the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast, where father and son talk about all things voiceover and a little bit more. Today we've got John on the couch a little earlier than usual, so we're going to have a couch potato with us. We also have our 11th episode today. Dad's got some Todd's tips. We've got an interview with Mike Praviti, part 1, and then we've also got Drew coming to do a surprise.
So we got one couch potato right now, and then number 2 is going to join us.
Yes, he is. So
well,
we're going to start off with you.
Today I wanted to talk about the anatomy of direct email marketing, just kind of build a skeleton and put some flesh and, bones on it. And just talk about all the different details about direct email marketing. The last few years, I've made close to $200,000 on direct email, with direct email marketing alone. I started it maybe 12 years ago. And now the boys and I, my 6 adult sons and I, John runs it along with Joe and has some help from some others of the boys, and we're all a part of it. And they run VO Marketing Pro or VOMP, and we'll hear their numbers in just a few minutes, but it's a direct email marketing company for voiceover talent. And so I thought we'd talk a little bit and kind of get down in the weeds a little bit about direct email marketing. But before we get there, we're going to do this over probably 3 or 4 weeks for the Todd's tips. So we'll take one part of it today, and it's really the foundation of everything. It's direct email marketing foundational mindsets. So much of life, so much of business comes from the correct mindset, and you know that. But it bears repeating with direct email marketing as well. So there are 4 that I have in mind right now. The first one is this: direct email marketing requires a numbers game mentality. We've talked about that a lot. It's the old direct marketing funnel where you put a lot in the top and let it filter down, and a few come out the bottom. So it's a numbers game. And if you're going to do direct marketing, and it's easy to just wag your head, but if you're going to do direct marketing of any kind, voiceover included, you're going to have that mindset of it's a numbers game. You got to pour a lot in and get a little bit out. Your ROI maybe isn't 30% or 20%. It might be much smaller than that. And we'll talk about that in just a second. You guys jump in if you got any comments, but I'm just going to move through these. And as I said, jump in if you want to. Second of all, another direct email marketing foundational mindset is it requires a long haul mentality. Those are probably the 2 things that we talk a lot about with VOMP. Numbers game, long haul mentality. It just takes time. It takes time to grow and then build and then maintain that business. So it's a long haul mentality. Third, direct email marketing requires a knowledge of the odds mentality. What do we say? What do we find out? Is it around 1 to 4%. The highest, it's probably, isn't that about 1 to 4%?
Under 5%. Always,
Under 5%.
usually.
Yeah, I mean, very, very rarely. We have heard of some people that do get, a 4 or 5%. And good for them. VOMP is typically about in the ballpark of normal direct email marketing, which is 1 to 4%. Then a small percentage of those responses, that very small warm response where you get back somebody asking questions like your rates, what else? You like your voice.
Keep you in mind.
We'll keep you
we
in
added
mind.
you to our list.
Yeah, those types of things. Those are called warm responses. Well, you get, let's just say you put 100 in and you get 2 out, 2%.
That are warm.
That are warm. Well, then you get even less that become a client. Maybe you get a 0.5 percentage point or just 1 out of those 2 or 1 out of 5 that actually become a client. But that's how you build a business. That's how I've built my business, one at a time, and then just servicing them well so they keep coming back. I remember Bill DeWees talking about one summer, his son Tyler sent out, I think it was 500 emails. And he got back 5 responses and 1 job. And you would think he'd be saying, well, that wasn't good. He was happy, tickled pink. He was. And he said so. He said, that's a good response because I got my, 1 or 2% and I actually got a job out of it. And that job paid for his son's hours, just like that, 1 job. So again, it's direct email marketing requires a knowledge of the odds mentality. Lastly, direct email marketing requires don't let other voiceover talent, voiceover coaches, or even companies that you call to direct email or that you contact for direct email marketing. It takes a mentality that goes away from, hey, this doesn't work. There's lots of people that say it doesn't work. You can't have that mentality if you're going to stay in the game, put a lot of numbers in it, long haul, and get small amounts out. You have to have a this is going to work mentality. And if you don't, you're probably not going to be in the game for very long. So those 4 mentalities are critically important. Now, I'm going to give some tough love here. So I'll give a countdown if people want to stop the video and move ahead to the more fun stuff, our numbers or whatever. This is going to take just a couple of minutes. So 3, 2, 1, and now our tough love. So these 4 direct email marketing mindsets are critical to your success. Critical if you're going to do direct email marketing. Without them, you're going to peter out. You're not going to succeed. And I'm talking about all 4. You have to have all 4 of them. One of them, if one of them goes, they all it's a foundation. They all kind of break. So growing your voiceover business or any business just takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of hard work. And it's like a garden. It takes a lot of TLC, a lot of weeding, a lot of propping up, a lot of keeping the rabbits and crows out of it, different things like that, pruning. Yep. It just takes a lot of hard work. And there are anomalies. I understand that. There are anomalies, but the vast majority of businesses become successful this way. They just do. So here's the tough love. Don't tell me that you're in it for the long haul and then quit 6 months later. That's not the long haul. Sorry, it's just not. I was in 3 to 4 years before I really started to get traction. That's a long haul mentality. And a lot of numbers went into that. So just be careful. Don't wag your head and nod. Make sure you count the cost.
How many emails would you say you sent out? Just to give people an idea. Was that 6,000? Was that 20,000?
No, I don't think it was 20, but it was probably into the thousands. Not before I didn't get a job. I got jobs when I got warm responses at 1 to 3 or 4%, but it took some months to get jobs. And I just had to believe in it. And like I've told people, I was just kind of naive. I just didn't know any better. And so I just did it. That's what I thought you had to do. So that was kind of helpful to be kind of naive, but it was more of a set it, forget it. It was more of a, I just have to do this mentality. And then the last thing is don't tell me that you believe in direct email marketing as a numbers game. If you send out 300 or 400 emails, that sounds like a lot. And you'll probably get responses, but you might not get the number of responses that you feel you should be getting. And it's easy to throw up your hands and say, it just doesn't work. And so just be careful that you mean what you say. If you're going to get into direct email marketing, there's other things that there might be quicker ROI. But I think over the long haul, direct email marketing is still a fantastic way to grow a voiceover business. There you got it.
All right. You can come back if you want. All right, John, what you do is start us off with the VOMP numbers for this week. And just a thought before that, I don't think they didn't ask for your numbers, right? You guys didn't ask Dad for his warm responses, auditions,
no,
other than the jobs, right?
And we don't. I don't think we plan on doing that just going forward. I guess a little housekeeping there on while we're on this podcast is that I might say that you guys got jobs because we include you in the group, but we don't include you in your numbers just because with the podcast you guys are covering that. So.
I just want to make sure that they knew that those warm responses are
correct.
Don't include mine, don't include Dad's. Maybe the auditions might, but the jobs definitely do. Anyway, just want to make that clear. So with all that.
So we had 35 warm responses and 5 auditions. And we've said this in the past too. We got some auditions, and like this, also this week we have auditions that we're waiting to hear back on. I believe there's one right now that there's a few people included in the roster that are waiting to hear back. And they're a company that's based in Australia, so we're kind of on differing schedules. So, and then 4 jobs. I believe you got one this week, right?
I got one last week.
Got one last week.
I had an audition this week.
Then
that I'm still.
That's why we don't keep track.
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
You got one from the UK. That you'll speak about. So that's 3. Randy Scott got one. I believe this is his 5th. He can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is his 5th, I think, with this this person
returning.
So, and then Noel Romano got one.
Way to go
as well.
So. Nice. Yeah, I'm waiting back for. I did an audition for a job and waiting to hear back from him. So maybe that'll come next week's numbers. But anyway, you want me to go?
Whatever.
Is that it, Johnny?
Yep.
All right. This week I had 8 warm responses. So that was pretty nice. One audition, as I just talked about. I didn't have any new clients this week, but I did have 2 jobs on Fiverr. One was $8, one was $24. So $32 there. But the real dark horse in this one is Upwork.
Yes.
Upwork, just a little background. I decided to pay for their Upwork Plus. I wasn't seeing a lot of movement on there, and it was because I didn't have a whole. You use a system. It's like you get like points or connects. They're called on there, and you're gifted a certain amount for the free version. And so each job is worth a certain number of connects. And so I had used mine up trying to audition and stuff like that. And it takes a month for you to get, I think 10 back. You get 10 every month. So I just wasn't able to get the traction that I wanted to. So I decided earlier this week that I would try the Upwork Plus. And what that does is it gives you 80 connects. And it also lets you see on each job what the high bid was, what the average bid was, and what the low bid was. So you can kind of figure out where you want to go. So anyway, I did that. And with it being my first week, I've probably 10 or 11 jobs that I've tried out for. One of them that I went for was $50 and I got it. So that was nice. And then today, I didn't even go after this one, but this guy sought me out and it's a $230 job. So this week, $280 on Upwork. And then I did 10 hours of editing for you. So for a total of $502. So that makes
moving up.
Yeah. So hopefully I can keep working on Upwork and figure out that, since Fiverr's kind of, I've never enjoyed any of the the up swing with Fiverr, which is whatever.
What's the difference between Fiverr in your mind? I know you don't know all the inner workings, but you know enough about Fiverr. You two guys do. What's the difference in your mind, Hudson, between Fiverr and Upwork? What do you see?
There's two things. I think Upwork is less well known, and so there's not as many. It's not flooded with as many voiceover talents. Maybe three things. I think the people on there that are looking for voiceover are maybe a little bit easier to deal with. And they might have a little bit better work in general, just because on Fiverr it seems like with how big they've gotten, you can tend to deal with some not so fun people on there. So those two things. And then also the main difference with Upwork is you go searching for the job. The client puts a job out there, and it's kind of free reign for people to send their audio files, send a cover little letter that just says, hey, this is who I am, this is what I offer, stuff like that. And then if they like your voice, they can interview you, you can talk about stuff. Where Fiverr, they come looking for you. So with Upwork, you can choose what you want to audition for.
So you can't really do that with Fiverr. Now, I mean, you can add more gigs, and you can go ahead.
They have what's called buyer requests, but you get, I think, 10 per 24-hour period, and there's just not that many good ones out there. Meaning that for people that speak Portuguese or who don't mind like character voices, like a pirate's voice, or something really unique, or that's really, really, really cheap, like $5 for 200,000 words. Or
seriously, it's ridiculous.
It's not too far off.
200,000 words.
It's not. It's embarrassingly close sometimes.
And so usually the people, it sounds like to me that the people don't know that do the buyer requests on Fiverr, who send the jobs and let people bid on them, don't know what they're doing, or there's people that know what they're doing. And what I mean is that they know that they're either doing it really cheap, or they know that it's a really unique request that they're asking for. So the likelihood of you getting a decent job out of a buyer request is, to me, in my experience, and I did a lot when you first started in 2016 on it, I don't think we really got many, if any, jobs. It's just a way to kind of stay busy on Fiverr, show some activity.
Yeah.
Sometimes on Fiverr too, that I've noticed in my short stint with them, a year and a little bit, that you can get like a client will just come in and they'll just start an order.
Yeah.
And they don't even know if you're the right fit for it. And so then
you're cancel it or something.
You're saddled with that.
Yeah.
And if they don't like it, then it's like, well, why is this my fault? You have to cancel the order because you didn't either read my gig requirements right or whatever. And so it's like, first of all, it's a $10 job. I'm going to be getting $8, and you're having me do all this, and then you're not happy. It's like, well, that shouldn't be my fault. Anyway, those are. I know that's a little bit of a gripe I have with them, but with the short period that I've been on Upwork for maybe 3 months, and just recently, like I said, I've done the Upwork Plus, but to get $280 out of a $15 a month thing.
That's good ROI.
I mean, it might not be the same, in the future, but I tell you, that makes me pretty happy.
Yeah.
So
me too. And just before I get to my numbers, which I'm going to piggyback off of that, how many people do you think I think we maybe have like 45 people we represent for VO Marketing Pro. There's a fair amount of them that do Fiverr. Would that be true? Is that a fair amount? I won't put a percentage, but there's probably a much smaller amount that do Upwork. I know Allison and Matt Jeffrey do Upwork, and they do quite well on that. I don't know if anybody...
Mike Praviti,
he
sent me that job,
that's right.
But I haven't heard of... Maybe there are. I haven't heard of many other people.
Yeah.
And maybe keep it that way.
Yeah. I don't want to spread the word too much.
Anyway.
But maybe that would be something people could comment that watch the podcast. If you're part of VO Marketing Pro, just let us know. If you do Upwork, maybe let us know what maybe there's an expert in our midst. But that goes to what I'm thinking about with regard to you is we've been hearing a lot of grumbling, and it's been my reality too of late. Fiverr doesn't seem to be very busy. And this week I was at $892 for Fiverr, which is probably about $1,000 below what I average. it's $1,800 to $2,500 or so. So what I've been doing, and this is what we talk about, is having a simple business plan that works and then working that. But if it's not working, then just carefully evaluating, listening, putting your ear to the tracks. And that's what we're doing. You're doing that with Fiverr for both of us, but you're doing that for Upwork. And I'm so glad, because if you can get Upwork going and kind of understand the system, it might help me. You might blaze the trail for me, and that would be wonderful. I'd really like to have another income stream and figure out how it works. The other thing I've been doing is I've been doing more auditions for Voices.com, because that's one of my 3 income streams. And I'm well ahead of last year on what I'm making from Voices.com. I'm behind in Fiverr. And so I'm kind of keeping my ears to the tracks and say, is this going to be the pattern with Fiverr? Because if it is, I'm going to put a little more effort into Voices.com, and then hopefully Hudson will kind of figure out Upwork. So I had 2 promising leads with my direct email marketing. I got a IVR, pretty possible IVR job. They're just checking with a client from Saudi Arabia.
Nice.
And it's with their biggest national bank, and they have a lot of IVR work. So we'll see how that works out. And then I got I got put on a voice roster for Armenia. I don't know if I might have worked with
Not
somebody
for
from
Armenia, but a company or
company.
something.
A video production company.
Yeah. The country didn't put you.
No, they didn't put me on their national voice roster. Yeah.
Their national team, like the Olympics, they've got you as one of their voices.
Nope, they didn't do that. I don't know what that means, but anyway.
Oh, okay. You don't know how the Olympics work?
I do, but I couldn't make the jump.
Okay.
And then I had one new job with a UK client, and that is my 3rd UK client in I think 3 or 4 weeks.
I was going to say, it seems like you're
just
really famous in UK, right? You're really hot in UK right now.
I wonder if Chris Marsden, we're doing direct email marketing for him, I wonder if he's going around spreading the word about me.
He's got a business card about you.
Yeah,
he's
right.
Just giving it out.
Right. So anyway, I had a new client this week, so that was good. So my Fiverr was $892. My platform's $4,214.25. We were just over $5,106.25 for this week in Voiceover. $5,106.25. I really like, just before we go to our interview, I really like giving my numbers, and we can talk more about why I like that. It's not a bragging thing, it's an encouragement thing, but I like you giving yours, because it shows somebody that's been doing it for a while and somebody that's doing it and hopefully continuing to climb and figuring out how to do a voiceover business. So I'm glad your week was good this week.
I don't mind doing it either, because we want, like I said, we want to give a realistic view of it, and I don't mind being open about my numbers. I don't make a lot of money doing it right now, but I hope that in the years as I keep, year 3, year 4, year 5, with direct email marketing, with maybe Fiverr, if it's viable. I'm not saying it's not going to be, but it hasn't been for me. But maybe Upwork. Hopefully I can, get to the summit. I don't know what that means, but push the boulder up the hill to the point where it's chasing me down the hill, and I have to push maybe some work away, stuff like that. So right now that's not where I'm at, but that's just fine. So hopefully people can identify with that. If you're new, maybe you're doing better than me, and good on you for that. So anyway, I appreciate it too. Is that all we got?
Yep.
All right. Next segment, we will have Mike Praviti, who is I don't know if is he an ex-singer, songwriter? He might still
I think
do
he still
some.
does some jingles and probably toys with it. Once you're a musician, I think always probably.
Yeah, and he's also a fairly new voiceover talent. He started right around the same time I did. So we have his first part of his interview next.
Hey, this is Mike Praviti, and you're watching the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast.
Hi, and welcome back to our second segment where we interviewed this week Mike Praviti. Mike Praviti is a new and upcoming voiceover talent. He's been doing it for close to as long as I have, so about a year. I think he started somewhere around May or July. We'll have to, check on that. But we're close to the same time period, and he's been pushing that boulder up the hill. And so we've got our first part of that interview right here.
Mike is right here.
He is
Of course he is.
There they are. The Barsness boys.
Mike Praviti.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
MikePraviti.com.
That's right. Trying to get that Boston accent in there, Todd.
Yeah, it's almost impossible.
Do I have it?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And you got your hot dogs.
Oh, don't say that. Now I'm going to
And
have to change my whole routine now. How you doing?
Good.
It's good to see you guys.
Are you in your studio?
I am. I'm in. So I have 2 studios. I have one that is, so I have my closet in my house that I work out of. But then I have another studio. So I was a singer-songwriter for a long time. And so years ago when I was, in my 20s, I had built a, like an actual studio at my mom's house. So when I started the voiceover thing again, my wife said to me, listen, why don't you use that studio? It's there. And I'm like, I'm not going to go back to my mother's house. That's like the last thing that I want to do. However, I started using it and, so I use it off and on, when I have to do live directed sessions and things like that, I'll use it. But it works out great.
So okay. So here's what we're thinking, Mike.
Yes.
We're real laid back. In fact, this, we'll all be part of the podcast, I'm sure, because it's just so real,
Yeah.
This is so real.
It's a great podcast, by the way. You guys do a great job. You really do. You do a great job.
Thank you.
And I know it's new for you, but you do a really good job. I enjoy them. I watch every single one of them. They're great.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And you're one of 3 people that watch it. So we appreciate it.
Oh, that's excellent. See, 3. So it's all right. You got to start somewhere. I mean, Todd.
Yeah. So what we were thinking, Mike, is we would break this into kind of 2 segments and
Sure.
and have 15. We've got 40 minutes to spend if you're available for that amount of time. Now It's more like 35 minutes, but usually what we do is take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes just to talk about something that's not voice related, getting to know you. And then we wanted to talk about your voiceover career, if we can do that in the second half.
Absolutely.
And
of course.
We'll play these back-to-back weeks on the podcast. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you hopping on here and spending time with us. And we've appreciated your new friendship that we have. Of course, you're part of VO Marketing Pro. Hudson was probably going to give you a shout out because you sent him some Upwork work. Really appreciated that.
Oh, of course. No, that was great. I was happy to do it. I mean, that's kind of what it's all about, right?
Yeah, it's nice to have a community.
That
shares
I
and
love it.
helps each other out. So
I think what
can be pretty.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say it can be pretty competitive, and I think some people are a little bit afraid to pawn off work to other people because obviously that's.
I can see that. Yeah. I mean, I was in, like I had mentioned, I was a singer-songwriter for a long time. So I was in kind of the music community for years and years and years. And I already went through all that crap. You know what I mean? So where people don't want to help each other and they keep everything so close to the chest that it's like, but it's the voiceover community is, I mean, I got to tell you, it's friggin' awesome. I mean, everybody, well, at least this, the circles that I kind of play in right now, which obviously you guys and Bill and Mal and blah, blah, blah. And people that I've met through, I mean, Todd, that's how I met, that's how I learned about VOMP was through an interview that I saw with Bill.
Yeah.
But it's been great. I mean, you guys have been awesome and the community's awesome. And so, anytime that, I can help somebody, I want to do that. That's just kind of my nature anyway, Yeah.
Yeah. Now you grew up in Massachusetts. Is that true? Did you grow up there?
Yeah. So I grew up in a town, Reading, Medford. I live in Reading now. But Medford, which is about 5 minutes north of Boston. So that's where I grew up. And, as a kid, it's kind of like a cliche story, but it's my story. But, I grew up loving, acting and theater and music and that whole thing. And when I was about, I think I started playing drums when I was about 10 years old. That was my first instrument. I played drums for about 8 years. Got into my first band. And in the meantime, like I was loving acting too. So I couldn't really decide what I wanted to do. I wanted to kind of do everything. So when I was about 12, I ended up getting with an agency called the Boston Agency, which was like a kind of modeling acting. I was like begging my dad. I was like, I want to do TV. I want to do movies. And he was like, yeah. Just kind of blew me off for a little bit, and ended up. It's kind of when the Yellow Pages were, still around back in the day. And he's like, oh God, my son's bugging me so much. I'm just going to pick the first place in the Yellow Pages and call them and see. And it was a place called the Boston Agency, and they were actually looking for people. And so I signed with them for a little while, did some commercials when I was a kid and things like that, but was always into that creative thing. Got into a band. And then after I caught the music bug and I got in a band, I played for years after that. And I toured, and I had a record deal at one point, and did a lot of that for a long, long time. Long time.
So you played the trap set, I take it. The drums.
Yeah. So I played the drums, and then so I went from drums to learning guitar. And then I was a singer-songwriter after that for a lot of years. So that's
I see.
That was the bulk of my music career, for myself. And it was under my name. So I had like a backing band, and then, we would tour, and then I would tour, and I would do, acoustic shows, acoustic shows by myself. I'd go to Nashville and LA and New York, and then play around, New England, et cetera, as well. And so I did that for a long time. And then I got into a relationship with another composer from Minnesota. And that's what he does for a living, writes a lot for commercials and indie stuff. And we formed a partnership, a songwriting partnership. And then we ended up writing for, different other artists, I guess, from around the world. We would pitch our songs and do that type of thing. And we ended up getting a song on a #1 album in Japan a few years back, and then realized the amount of money that we were going to make actually doing that, which was like, it was terrible. And so we're like rethinking. I'm like, maybe the music thing. I mean, I'd been doing it for so long at that point, but yeah. So then I kind of took a break from that, and that's where the voiceover thing, it kind of began there, But but music was my thing for a long time.
I went to your website, and you have your commercial demo, narration, like animation, character, and then you have a couple of are those songs you've written? Actual songs, right?
So I think the one song I have on there is a song that I did for my songwriting partner when him and I first met, actually, because he was composing something for a commercial, and he found my music website somehow, and got in touch and said, hey, I need a singer for this. Would you be interested in? So that's how we kind of met. And I think that's the one I put on there because it's like a 30-second thing. But yeah, no, I've written a ton of songs. I don't really use them anymore. I mean, I have a couple of licensing deals with my songwriting partner from back in the day, and every once in a while a song will be used, it'll be licensed for somewhere. But the reason I put that on there, Todd, is because I can still sing, and I've done a couple of jobs where I've done jingles.
So I was going to ask about if you do some commercial jingles, and that's an option for you, huh?
It is, yeah. And I didn't, I kind of went back and forth because I said, I don't know. It's this, I don't know if I want to kind of delve back into the music thing. I did that for so long. I want to maybe concentrate totally on voiceover, and voiceover is my main focus. But I said to myself, I mean, it's something that I can offer. And so why wouldn't I just offer it, And so, I've actually, for the past couple of months, I've been working with a couple of companies out of Spain, believe it or not. I don't know why Spain has been so prevalent lately, but that have gotten in touch with me to sing on some, jingles for them. And so I've been doing it. So yeah, I do offer that. But when I send, when I do direct marketing and all that stuff, I really don't mention the singing thing in there. It's just kind of an added bonus if it happens, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, you live in Reading yet.
Yes.
And real quickly,
Yeah.
for those of us that don't do a lot of traveling, I've never been to the East Coast, to Boston.
Oh, we gotta get you out.
Well,
you two have to come out, and
You
when you
invited
come
us.
out, I will be your tour guide.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's
Perfect.
great to
Okay.
know.
We'll need
I will
one.
be the
We'll
tour
definitely
guide.
need one.
Yes,
Yeah.
I will be the tour guide, and
Some-
there will be alcohol involved. I'm just letting you know right up front. All right, when you Hudson, you're old enough, so I can
Probably
talk
not,
about
but
that.
Some Midwest bumpkins will be coming to Boston. You'll have to
Yes.
really shelter us from. But now
all
you
right.
are in. You're in. How far from Boston are you?
Probably about 20 minutes or so without
Oh.
traffic. Yeah,
Got it.
so it's not that far north.
Yeah.
And so my wife and I bought a house in Reading back in 2006, and we've been living there ever since. We have two little girls, and yeah,
Their
it's
names
great.
are
Cadence and Kendall, both K's, and we did not do that purposely.
Cadence, like
Yep.
music cadence.
Like, yeah, but we
Mhm.
spelled it with a K.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Good for
and
you.
then Kendall. Yeah, they're going to be 13 and 11 this year.
Wow.
And they're awesome.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
your wife's name is Brandy.
It is.
And we were trying to.
I was gonna
see-
so let
Yeah.
me so how did you find that out?
I
Did
don't
I
remember.
say something?
I
Oh,
did.
that's
well,
phenomenal.
I think
you
you
filled
said
out
something.
that thing for us.
But see, I have
Oh,
a
that's right.
tendency.
That's
I
right.
have a tendency to mess things up. Like with one of our guests,
That's
I called
phenomenal.
his wife his mother's name or something like that. So we were trying to figure out how we remember Brandy. So I was singing the sailors
Brandy,
say
she's a fine
Brandy,
girl.
she's a
Yep.
fine girl.
She's a
And
fine
Hudson,
girl.
There
Hudson-
you go, Hudson.
Hudson
She
was
gets
singing
that a
what?
lot.
What were you singing?
I was
Hudson?
saying, well, I interchanged. Oh, Brandy. Well, you came and you gave without take. Anyway,
Oh,
just so
Barry
we can
Manilow.
remember it. Yeah, we were doing
That is her. She'll be
Yep.
very excited that you know her name on this when I show her the
Yes.
podcast. No, it's great. Yeah. So Brandy and I have been married since 2005. It's crazy.
You carry your age very well because you say years and years and years. And I was thinking you were probably, in your upper 20s.
Oh,
You don't have to
Todd,
say. You don't have to say.
No, I'm gonna say it. I'm
Okay.
22. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, I'm 50. I just turned 50. I
Really?
just turned 50.
No way.
I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
That is a
Man.
Yeah.
shock.
Yeah.
That is a shock.
I did.
Yeah,
I just
I
turned
would-
50.
I'm
It's a
serious.
shock
I
to
would
me
have-
too, Todd.
would
It's a
have
shock
guessed
to me.
37.
Oh,
Seriously.
that's great.
That's
yeah.
not a joke.
And
no,
you-
I appreciate that.
And here's the thing, Mike.
Yeah.
You have such a young sounding voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's going to, if you want to stay in voiceover. See, here's the thing. I mean, I look old, so I try not to show anybody
You
my
don't
age.
look old, Todd.
Well, the thing
Same.
is, I'm 62 years old. I'm 62.
Right.
And so, but like people still hire me for 25 to 35.
That's
And
awesome.
so I hope to keep a youthful sounding
Yeah.
voice at least, and my
Yeah.
health. And boy, I
Sure.
mean, you could, with that voice, you could do this for another 20 years, sounding like you're in your
Yeah.
30s and 40s.
I know. I'm lucky in that sense, and I'm told that. I mean, I sometimes audition for teen, like 18 years
bet.
old stuff. And so yeah, so it's in that sense, it's I'm gonna shut my email off so it doesn't keep dinging. Sorry, guys.
All right.
So yeah, no, it's I'm lucky in that sense. And it's so far, because I haven't been doing this for that long. And it's served me well pretty quickly. And and it's continuing to do so as far as having the younger sound. But I was thinking about this too, Todd, because I know you do a lot of medical and corporate narration and things like that, right?
Sure.
You have that voice in Hudson. I don't know if you go for those too, but you have that kind of lower timbre to your
Mhm.
voice.
Mhm.
I don't get a lot of corporate narration, I mean, or I haven't yet. I mean, I auditioned for my share of medical narration, corporate, whatever. I mean, I audition for the majority of things that come in as long as I feel like it's going to serve me well. But, my voice definitely has, I mean, if you look at some of the media on my website and some of the jobs I've done, it has that kind of younger, sometimes character-y type of a voice, and I love doing that stuff, which is great, but yeah, so I'm lucky in that sense, I guess,
And that's something that I can't do very well. Like I can't do animation. I haven't really tried that much because it's
well, I
not
was going
in
to
my
say, yeah, I
comfort
think
zone.
you probably could.
So
yeah,
I would
yeah.
I'd have to work on it. But you like
Sure.
right away, it's like that guy could do animation, no
Yeah.
problem. Right when
I
you hear your
appreciate that.
voice.
Yeah, and I love auditioning for it too. Like I am a goofy dude, and I just am, and I love animation, and I love characters, and I love auditioning for that stuff. And I've been lucky enough to audition for some pretty big projects, and kind of the way I look at it, even though I haven't gotten them for some like TV shows and movies and things like that. And I haven't landed anything yet, but I'm fairly new to doing this. But the way that I look at it is, I'm going to audition all day long, because all that really is, just like any other audition for me, is practice. That's rehearsal. Like, and I do it, I don't treat it as it's like not a big deal. I treat it like it's everything, every single audition I do. But it's I have a lot to learn with voiceover, and I just kind of consider everything to be like learning, build.
Well, that was part
nice.
one
Yeah.
of Mike Praviti, and it was kind of nice we could talk with him and tease around
He's a
little
good
bit
sport.
like
There's
that.
no doubt about it. He's a good sport. He's been around, I mean, he's not as young as I thought he was, and sure looks like it, sure sounds like it, but he's
I thought he was closer.
Things.
I thought he was closer to my age than he was your age.
He's done a
and
lot
we were
of things.
surprised with that.
Singer-songwriter, traveled. He's got a wealth of.
His wife's name is Brandy.
Brandy. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously we had a little fun with that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
well, looking forward to the next one.
yeah, next week should be fun, and we will have that next week.
How about that?
So next segment, Drew's got a surprise. We'll have the couch potatoes. So if you're willing, come join us and have a little
Should
bit
be
of fun
fun.
with us.
But we have to go pretty quick because we only have 30 minutes, so we got to be careful, very careful.
Hey, listen. Are we on right now? Are we hot?
We're hot.
Yeah, we're hot.
So are we recording?
We could just give her
Check.
like this if you want.
Hey, ow! John was talking about
That was my back.
John was talking about the Pat McAfee podcast, and I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast, and this is how they have their microphones. They're talking over the top.
Oh.
So spin her down just a little bit. And Drew, I put yours like that. You can. They're almost
now it's
talking
mine.
right over the top,
Yeah.
right like
that-
this. Because see, here's the pickup pattern right about like this.
Oh, smart.
So all the big podcasters do it.
All of us.
McAfee, Rogan,
TVVOT.
father son podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess we should-
let's hear what Johnny sounds like. Go ahead, John.
Hey. Hello.
Okay, Dad.
Hi. Have we welcomed people
no.
back yet? Welcome
Okay.
back to our original father son voiceover podcast. We're just getting things set up real off the cuff.
This is real off the
Drew
cuff.
was singing High Calypso, so that'll be interesting.
Can you hear me?
Wait,
When
we're back. We're
oh
doing it
yeah,
right
we're
now?
on.
Oh.
When Drew was little, he would stand on the fireplace, and we'd have him sing like a girl, sing like a woman,
Sing high like a woman
sing low like a man,
Low like
and
a
sing
man.
like a boy.
and sing normal like a boy.
And he could still do it.
Yeah. Falsetto.
Some things never change.
Yeah,
Falsetto.
I bet.
sure is nice to have this. This is. I like this place.
I know. I'm jealous. I kind of wish that I didn't have to sit at the table because being a couch potato is it's a nice thing.
You know what else you feel so natural when you. I mean, you got a microphone.
You
here,
feel
but if
more laid back.
You do if you don't have headphones on and you're sitting straight up like that.
Well, this is the 11th episode of the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast. So this is our segment where we just have a little bit of fun. So
Yeah, we just let her rip.
So how about let's start having fun now, okay? Right now is when we start having fun. So
Okay.
Permission to have fun.
So let's do it. Okay. What do you got for us today, Drew? You've
Yeah,
got a
well-
surprise for us.
Yeah, we had 2 Fridays in a row where we did This Day in History.
Which was a big hit.
I don't
I mean,
feel like anybody.
The comments were just.
Lots.
We
and
had-
lots
It
and
took
lots
us
of
months.
comments.
All right, it took us.
Months, even though it's been 1 week since we.
We didn't get through. We didn't get any comments.
It's gonna take us months to go through it. We got some comments.
Yeah, but not about the day in history.
No.
But that's okay.
I guess everybody knew that stuff.
Probably
So
did.
I want to go on record to say though that I think I was I don't know how many statements I made about different things, but I was right on a lot more things than you guys portrayed. So I just want to make that clear. Otis Redding did write Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. 1776 was the year that we had our independence and stuff like that. So
Well, yeah, I think we were good with that one.
Oh, okay.
I think we all let you have
I
that.
know it's
one.
only 2, but
And it was on your shirt too, just so you know.
it was. I mentioned that I
But
was
two is way more than I would have thought you've been right on. So
Well,
that is an accurate
get used
statement.
to it. I'm good
Well,
for 2.
however many you get right, sometimes the next thing that comes out of your mouth is so wrong that it lives
I don't know
on
if I've
for a
had the same
while.
experience.
I don't even believe in luck, but that was lucky that you.
Had so many right.
Yeah.
Although, like we did say,
Music is my forte.
Yeah, music is his thing. So
Are you able to hear Jonathan very well, or does he need to put his microphone up just a little bit? Because he's got the quietest voice of us all.
yeah, he
Like
does.
a church mouse.
You can tilt that thing more if you want. Like, so if you grab the back of it, kind of, and
push it
push
down.
it down,
Might be
you can push that. Yeah, right.
Oh,
like,
look at
then you
that.
can pull
Perfect.
it closer
Don't
to
be
you.
afraid. Yeah.
Get right on
There you
over
go.
there.
Now you're
Oh
cooking.
yeah.
Now
That's
you're right on
beautiful.
over.
All right.
Like all
Now
the
you've got
very
presence.
popular.
This is presence. Your presence.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Let's.
All right, so
Let's hit it.
Anyway, a suggestion was to do the 50 states because that's timeless. You can at any point pick up, say, hey, I'd like to learn a little bit more about Alabama.
That's what I
what
was
we're starting
thinking.
today, and
Alphabetical
you can say, or hey, what were those guys talking about with Alabama? There was some really interesting facts that I'd like to get back in there and
What was
and
that episode?
Share
That was
with
a
my
lot of
friends.
Alabama.
Hustle back there.
Yeah, and then you can go to Alabama and do that. So we're just going alphabetically. We're not going to go in the order that they were brought into the Union, as it were. I think that's
All
what you
right.
say is the Union. So I've got a few different like the state flower, state bird, a couple different things like that, and then we got some fun facts about Alabama.
It's all about having fun and
Being laid back.
educating
sorry.
yourself.
Yeah.
Educating the people that are watching.
Mm-hmm, definitely. So the state flower is a camellia. We don't have a picture. We could maybe get a picture of them.
Damon
Damon
our
could get a picture for us.
Producer can get it right
Yeah,
there.
it's right there.
Yeah.
Right by his hand in the microphone.
Camellia.
Camellia.
What color is it?
It looked to me like kind of pinkish. I hope that's the color that it is when we show it because I think I remember it being
Okay.
pinkish. State bird is called the northern flicker, also known as a yellowhammer, which is part of the woodpecker family.
Interesting.
Yep. And then the state song is itself Alabama. Not written by Alabama,
Oh.
but it's Alabama. It was written in 1931.
Is that group Alabama from Alabama? Gotta be.
I think they are.
I mean,
I
come on.
hope so. That'd be false advertising.
Yeah. You know, I suppose we could get like some sort of. I mean, I have a computer basically right here in my hand.
What do
I
you
suppose
think?
I could look it up.
What
real
do you
quick.
think, Hudson? Let's see if you can be right.
I'm gonna be careful.
Go ahead. I think I think that's a slam dunk. Go ahead. Alabama, the group is from Alabama. Go ahead. Is it raining?
It's raining out. Yeah.
out? Go ahead. Do you think? Go on record and say you believe Alabama, the group, is from Alabama.
I feel like
Do it.
this is
think
a
it's slam
setup.
dunk.
I feel like this is a setup.
I
You know
got
what?
the answer.
I'm gonna say that they are originally from Alabama.
It shows the origin was in Fort Payne, Alabama.
1 for 1 you
Wow.
are on
Yep.
this podcast, Hudson.
Mark it up.
The
Ding.
band was founded by Randy Owen and his cousin Teddy Gentry. They were soon joined by another cousin, Jeff Cook. And there you go,
Did
just that
did
fast.
they sing Sweet Home Alabama? That was somebody else.
I don't know.
Let's quick get that one.
Turn it
now
up.
that we're... I don't think so. That's Leonard Skinner.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he wrote it, but he sang it.
Leonard Skinner?
Yep.
I think that's just a group.
He
I
sang
don't
Leonard. That
think
was
there is
that
a
was
guy
their
named
teacher.
Leonard
Remember
Skinner.
that? It was a teacher named Leonard Skinner, I think, wasn't it? That they went to school and they named
Something
no,
like
We should
that.
be very careful.
Hey,
It's
stop
Freebird.
that.
I don't think there is.
I think
I'm
think
not
there's a
I'm
person
not a
named
musical
Leonard Skinner in the
historian
world.
or anything like that, but
Yeah, I guess I
it was
don't know.
based off of a teacher that they had.
okay,
The
that's
group.
That's
would
not
know-
on record
I
now.
I
this
remember
could be
this.
2 for 2 or 1 for 2.
I think it's 2 for 2. I don't know if the guy's name was actually Leonard Skinner.
You know what we're
But-
gonna have to call this part of the podcast is Are You Smarter Than
Hudson. I'm going to guarantee just about 99% of society
I
is.
don't know. I mean, you did pretty good last week, and you're 1 for 1. Well, 1.
99 seems high.
I think I'm 2 for 2.
Yeah, that seems a little
Are
high.
you going to look that up to see if Leonard Skinner was originated from like a teacher that they had?
Hey, in post, have demand push true, and then ding.
Well, just say what I
Something
am,
like that.
what my batting average is.
Yeah.
1 for
Okay,
1,
something like
2 for
that.
2, 1 for 3, whatever.
Ronnie Van Zant is lead vocals, so that it's Leonard Skinner must be
It's a group.
just the
It's
group
just
itself.
like
So,
Jethro Tull and some of those other groups.
Yep,
Back
to Alabama.
Okay.
We went on
You're
a
right.
rabbit trail.
Sorry.
That's my fault.
they were in Jacksonville, Florida, so we are way off. We gotta make
That's
sure
not
that
Florida's not until a little while.
Yeah,
Let's
we
not get
gotta
off
make
on
sure that
Florida.
we don't get too far off here. We're still on the fun train, so that's the important part.
I think lots of people are having fun watching us right now.
All aboard. All right, so Alabama, not the group Alabama, but the state song is just Alabama. So real original there by Alabama.
Makes sense.
The state tree is a longleaf pine. So it's a pine tree, coniferous.
Pine-
thing.
do trees
Pines
have leaves?
I thought they had. What are those things
Needles.
called? Needles.
Pine needles?
I think. But yeah, I saw a picture of it, and they do look pretty lengthy.
Leafy, huh?
But
That is probably not the
scale
size.
Huh.
But the state motto, it's in Latin, which you can translate. But I'm going to try
Try
my
it.
best here. Audimus jura nostra defendere. We dare defend or maintain our rights. So those southern states, they seem pretty serious about
Defending their
their
yeah.
rights. So they just put it
Right
right
in
their
the old
motto.
motto, and
They're
said it in
serious about
Latin,
it.
so people might not.
So Latin people didn't try and take their rights.
Yeah, could be.
Latin people.
That's the thing to do. When you're real serious or being scientific, you put it in Latin,
True.
right?
Makes
Because
it
that makes it
seem
look
smarter.
real high. It makes
Sounds
it
right.
look like you really know what you're talking about. Because like all those like animals and plants have a
They have scientific
Latin
names.
name,
yeah.
right?
You bet. No scientists are serious about their animals.
Mm-hmm.
State insect, monarch butterfly.
Do the monarch butterflies? Do they
Migrate.
fly down there?
They go a long, long way.
Or they go down to Mexico and stuff,
I
don't
think
they?
usually,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mexico was.
Yep, that's where they do their.
Have you
Rings a bell.
when you were down there speaking Mexican?
Yeah.
Did you ever?
Do the monarchs
see
speak?
them.
Do the monarchs speak Mexican? Do they have to
Boy.
speak the lingo when you go down
The
there?
other thing we could do is say, is can you be funnier than Hudson? Not
Also,
only
that
smarter.
wouldn't be a very
Are you
hard thing to do.
breathing?
Nope. All right. State nickname is the Yellowhammer State or the Heart of Dixie,
Okay.
due to the Confederate capital being in Montgomery, Alabama.
All right.
So, and then the final thing, and the reason I left this last is because one of the fun facts is about this.
Oh, okay.
The state animal is the black bear. So that's all news to me. All of that was news to me.
I don't always think of those southern states as having bear or wildlife like that. You know what I mean? It's just for
Yeah.
some reason I don't place bear.
Have you
down
been to
south.
Alabama?
I don't think so.
Have you?
Maybe.
I
Slight-
don't
like,
think
I
I've
think I
been to
have.
Alabama.
Nope.
I've been to a lot of states now, but not to Alabama.
I think Mom
I
has,
don't
hasn't
think I
she?
have.
She
I
was
think a lot
down
more.
in, weren't they down in Gulf Shores at some point?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I've heard a lot about Mom's history, and then I've lived a lot of the history with her. 40,
Yeah, but you
40
mean
plus
40 plus years.
now.
Did you guys talk about that?
Yeah.
We sure did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll leave it alone then.
But now, is Alabama, maybe you got more, but is Alabama, are they mountainous?
I saw that in their northeast corner. It's got the start of not the start of, but it's got some Appalachian mountain region area.
So it's got some of the ranges in there.
I think it's definitely hilly / mountainous in that region, but I don't think there's much of it.
I think what's neat about us doing this together is for the most part, almost everything we get off of the internet, we're learning for the first time.
Yeah, and we're really hoping that it's true
I was gonna
because
say.
we want other people to learn along with us, and we don't want to have false information here.
We could be
so
spreading
if,
all
if,
sorts
if
of
folks
false
are
information.
getting on here and they're hearing things that they know for sure is not true, outside of our just other meanderings, our mindless meanderings. If you hear some facts on here, then you need to let us know. We'll try to correct those best we can.
This would be a good time for that disclaimer.
to
So
go
come
up
on,
there.
that right there would be something.
But that
in there.
doesn't mean necessarily that somebody can't correct us.
Correct.
If and when we're wrong, because
Right.
just because we have a disclaimer out there doesn't
Right.
mean that.
Right. We're just trying to protect ourselves.
Yeah. Coffee's hot. That's what we're saying right now. Coffee's hot.
Oh, yeah.
You spill
I
it
see
on
what you're
yourself. Hey, that coffee was hot. We
Yeah.
tried to tell you about that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you scald yourself.
saying. You listen to our
You drank
podcast.
it. You drank the coffee.
You listen to this podcast, you are probably going to get some
You're
information.
assuming we don't know what we're talking
exactly.
about.
Yep. That's
Except me.
the third segment is about a lot of conjecture. Because I've never been to Alabama and I've never studied Alabama. That's about as much as I know about Alabama. I mean, we know about football because they're serious about football in Alabama.
Yeah.
They've been okay at football.
But you have more? Or is that it?
I've got some more.
Let's
Okay.
hear some more.
I've got some more here. These are fun facts.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
It's a Class B felony in Alabama to wrestle a bear. That's why I left state animal last.
Is
Who in their
is,
right mind would wrestle?
is that
a
is it?
bear?
Let's see.
Davy
The same
Crockett.
as shooting like
Grinning.
what's Wisconsin's state animal? Is that the robin?
That's
a
a
state
bird.
bird.
State bird.
The state fish is a muskellunge.
Yeah,
So you
muskie.
can kill a muskie
Yeah.
and eat it, but you can't.
I
But
don't know.
this is simply just wrestling a bear.
Okay, you just can't
You
wrestle.
can't
a
be
bear.
wrestling bears.
Maybe you could shoot it if it's.
You can kill bears. You just can't wrestle them.
Okay.
I don't know,
That's
they-
a Class B felony. What?
Yeah, it is. It is illegal in Alabama to sell, purchase, possess, or train a bear for bear wrestling. Who would ever think of-
I wonder if maybe
Yeah.
that's what they used to do for sport.
Here you go. Bear wrestling matches used to be a pretty big deal in Alabama. They were so
Oh.
popular that the state of Alabama added a law under Section 13A 12.5, just in case you wanted to look that up, about bear exploitation that explicitly forbids people from engaging in bear wrestling matches. I just thought that was common sense. Don't wrestle bears.
Well,
is it
but
still
that is
them,
that's-
or is it
that's-
like dog fighting where they have two bears wrestle each other?
Because that's yeah, right.
that what
Because
I'm-
that's to
yeah.
protect a bear, a human going against a bear. It seems like you'd want to protect the human, but it sounds like you're trying to protect the bear. So it's not like dog fighting, is it? Dog
Well,
against
that's what I was
dog?
wondering. If
don't
you're
know.
not supposed to have
Bear
two
wrestling?
bears wrestling each other
Huh.
because it's inhumane. Because, I mean, to be honest, why would you put a felony on somebody for going out there and trying to wrestle a bear?
Davy
Like that's their
Crockett
own
style,
fault.
Grinning down a bear.
Yeah, grin down a bear.
Yeah, I guess I didn't get that deep into this. It doesn't necessarily. I do know that in history, I know that chaining a bear and having people fight the bear because then it can't go anywhere. You can stay outside of its reach. I know that historically that has happened. They did that for sport. So I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's two bears going at each other,
Yeah.
or if it's truly. I mean, we've seen clips online of Russian folks getting after bears I mean, those are trained.
Yeah,
so
but you've got to check somebody's mental stability if you're.
Yeah, like I said,
wrestling
I
bears,
would have figured
unless
that a human I mean, if you want to wrestle a bear, don't put a felony on it. Just say, hey, listen, you want to wrestle a bear, you go at your own risk.
Yeah, that'll be your
If you're
punishment.
confident enough to do
whatever
that,
happens,
you must be
whatever
really good at
happens.
wrestling.
Yeah.
Maybe they had some huge lumberjack down there that was grappling bears left and right and injuring them or hurting them. And so they said, listen, we got to quit this
You
practice.
got all these limping bears.
what are we
around
doing
and
here?
Going to the vets.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so this is a Class B felony, which I said before.
Mhm.
And it's the same as being charged with manslaughter. So pretty serious. Don't be wrestling bears. Do not be wrestling bears.
I never
All
would have thought that.
No, it's wild.
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun to chop up. Let's talk about another one. Alabama does not have an officially recognized nickname. It's known as the Yellowhammer State, or the Heart of Dixie, and the Cotton State, but it is not designated an official nickname. So, to make up for that,
The bear
here are
wrestling state.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, don't wrestle our bears state.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a bear and wrestle bears.
There you go.
There you go. All right.
What else you got?
Yep. Alabama was the first state to declare Christmas a legal holiday.
Really?
In 1836, Alabama declared Christmas a legal holiday.
As opposed to an illegal holiday?
No, just a recognized.
Yeah, they just
probably.
recognized it.
Oh, okay.
That's something. I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know either.
There's just a lot. What this does
Mhm,
is this makes the learner in me
mhm.
want to just dig in. And
You've always
figure
been a
out-
why guy. You've always
Yeah.
been a why guy.
Yep. And after the podcast, I'm probably going to get out the encyclopedias, the A encyclopedia,
For Alabama.
and go at
Go
it.
hog wild.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I probably won't.
So then the federal government eventually followed suit and declared December 25th a public holiday, but it took them until 1870. Alabama was way out in front.
Good for them.
The federal holiday
Trendsetter.
said, I don't know about that, Alabama. That kind of sounds sketchy, this Christmas holiday, this Christmas
Yeah,
thing you
giving
got going
presidents
here."
to people, I think that's more dangerous than wrestling bears. Because when did they outlaw wrestling bears? You might have been able to wrestle bears before you were able to celebrate Christmas.
Don't worry, we'll edit that joke out. Don't worry about that.
It's not a joke.
Did you say presidents? Did you say giving
He did,
presidents?
giving out
presidents.
Oh, I thought you said
Yeah,
presidents.
giving
handing
out-
out presidents.
How many Alabama presidents do you think there are?
I don't know.
I think a lot more come from Ohio, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
in Virginia.
All right. 10 minutes left.
Alabama is home to a tree that owns itself, I guess.
Trouble.
I'm not sure. I'm not following that.
Yeah.
But go on, because Hudson might try to make a
Yeah.
joke again.
Next fun fact.
Go past it so I don't save me from myself.
Save us from you. Alabama is the only state where all three ingredients needed to make iron and steel can be found in close proximity to each other.
Boy,
That's really deep there. Alabama is the only state that has the ability to produce iron and steel with its own natural resources. It's the only place in the world where all three ingredients needed to make steel can be found.
Are there any more interesting facts
Steel
about Alabama?
City is Birmingham. I thought Pittsburgh was a steel city. The Alabama State Constitution is the longest of any of the 50 states, with over 300,000 words. Alabama beats out all other states for the longest state constitution. For comparison, the United States Constitution only contains 4,543 words.
why would you be so wordy? 300,000, you said?
Bear wrestling.
300,000.
Got to have bear wrestling in there.
They had a
and-
huge section
and
in there
stuff
about bear wrestling.
Christmas.
Yep,
But
yep. They went
Hey,
on
about
and on and
presidents,
on.
too.
Yep. The first 911 call in the United States was made in Alabama on February 16, 1968. Speaker of the House,
Wait.
Rankin Fight.
rank and fight.
That's his name.
And he
rank and fight.
he made the call?
Not Fife, not Fight. Fike. What's that?
He made the call, the 911 call?
Yep.
Ooh,
He called U.S. Representative Tom Beeville at the local police station.
Oh,
The red phone fight used is still on display in City Hall.
1968.
Yep.
How many people really? I was 8 years old. How many people really would know that 911 was around then?
I don't
I
know.
didn't.
Is that-
I didn't know about 911 till the 90s.
is that? I thought 911 was a thing that happened because of 9/11.
No.
I thought,
Oh wow.
Oh boy,
really?
no.
Well, that happened on 9/11. I thought that's when they started. Okay. All right.
That was 2001, right? 9/11. So you were only like 5 years old, 6 years old.
I
right?
was,
5
yeah.
years old. So that's just
We'll give you a
that's
break.
really that's just shows that you just don't. That's not
I
part
guess
of
it
your.
made sense to me.
It's not part of your history.
But they didn't
serious-
have. Okay.
Go ahead. No,
Nope,
you go ahead.
nope. I'm
911.
gonna stop right there.
Would you have thought?
That is that old?
You were born in 89. You were born in 86. Do you remember 911 was always around as far as you knew, right?
I kind of just thought it was a thing, like for a long time. At 68 would not have been.
You thought
thought
it
it was
was
older
the
than that,
thing?
maybe?
Like what? What's the
I thought
thing?
it was a
A
thing.
thing.
I thought it was
Okay.
a thing for a
Like
long
since
time.
they had telephones or something?
Well, maybe not that far, but I mean, I figured that it's been that way for a long, long time. And 68 would have been late in my mind.
Oh, wow. That's so
But,
early
yeah.
in mine. I didn't know that we had a 911 emergency thing. I never would have thought to. I never into my 20s and 30s. I never would have thought to ring 911.
Well, and the issue with I have with this one is that they say that this Speaker of the House called U.S. Representative Tom Beeville at the local police station. So that's not really a 911 call.
I think
Like
it was,
what does
yeah,
that mean?
I think it must have been just
It's like
Plus,
kind
was
of
it a
the,
true emergency?
What do they call that?
Ordinance?
No, almost like Thomas
cutting the-
Edison. Thomas Edison called that guy
Yeah.
for the telephone.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
To open
Ceremonial.
up the,
yeah,
yeah.
ceremonial,
kinda,
kind of
cutting
like,
the
hey,
ribbon.
we're
He didn't have a
got
real
911.
He didn't have a real.
No.
That was also the first crank
Prank,
911
yeah.
call.
Good
Yeah, it's a
point.
fake.
That's
Because they didn't need
Class
help.
B felony
Yeah,
too.
it's like
Along
bear
with
wrestling.
Well,
wrestling.
he saw some bears
Could've been
wrestling and he
somebody-
wanted to call it in.
Somebody could have been some sort of manslaughter could have been going on, but they had a crank call.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there could have been something
Yeah.
that somebody was trying to get through. Their dad was murdering people, and
Oh, wow.
then they're like, "Hey, let's
It's
call
busy.
911."
They
It's
get
busy
busy time. They get
because of
busy.
that first call.
Had to
Now
call
we
back.
won't go into the story, but I think you were the only one in our family, or maybe Deshaun. Didn't you guys accidentally ring up 911? Don't tell the story. We got to save that for a whole episode. because it's so
I did.
funny.
I don't know if it's funny, but it was impressive how I did it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. We'll hear that sometime.
okay, we'll hear it sometime. All right, we got
All right.
5 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well, just like I said, we can just
we
cut
can
it.
we can if you want.
We got
And
a
we can-
couple more here.
we can
Let's
take-
let's try to
then we can
pick
pick
up
up
the
the
burn
bad
through
parts.
these. Let's try to
Yeah.
burn through
Yep.
these.
Yeah.
Okay.
Windshield wipers were invented in Alabama. See, again, this is a little bit
never
strange
would
here,
have
but
thunk it.
in the winter of 1903, Alabaman, this is a woman though, Mary Anderson visited New York, and while in a streetcar, she watched how the motorman had to leave the vehicle and wipe the snow and sleet from the windshield. As a solution, Anderson came up with the idea for a swinging arm device with rubber blade that the driver could use inside the vehicle. But I think they probably still had to.
Oh.
Did you ever have cars like that? Where you?
No, but we had an old 57 vehicle that the windshield wipers broke, and so my dad pulled a little thing off of underneath the dash, and we had the little wires, and we had to work them
Oh wow,
driving down the road.
that was probably fun.
Yeah, it was. No seat belts, of course. That wasn't a big thing back then. I don't think there were seat belts in that
Yeah.
thing. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, so she never patented the idea. No, she did. She received a patent for it, but she never sold her idea. That was a mistake.
Yeah,
And then they
it's
Very
became
nice of her.
mechanical wipers became standard features in 1913 in all American cars.
Really?
So they just stole her idea.
Yeah.
Said, "Hey, thanks for that, Mary.
All
Didn't
right.
give you any credit for that." You can this will probably be the last one. You can go from Alabama to the Great Lakes entirely via boat, if you're so inclined.
You mean with
The
the
port of Mobile to Great Lakes. It's 1,300 miles through a variety of
Mississippi?
waterways and locks to find yourself in Chi-Town,
So
Chicago.
up the Mississippi to the Wisconsin?
Black Earth Creek?
I don't know. That'd be just musings.
Yeah,
I have
the
no
Black
idea.
Earth.
It says the
How do you get over to? Well,
There's the Illinois River
okay,
that goes through Illinois
yeah.
from the Mississippi.
Makes sense.
Just so many questions I have now. More questions than answers in my
You know what
mind.
I'll do? I'll send this to you. Then that way you can take a
I'll
look
dig
at
in.
it.
I'm going to
yeah.
dig in all weekend. I'll be digging
You'll
into
be
Alabama.
deep. You'll be deep in Alabama.
We got to visit Alabama sometime.
Yeah. We'll take this with us and we'll drop some truth bombs to Alabamans.
See if
probably,
they know.
probably won't
We'll
even
go
know.
around the street.
We don't have anybody
You can
that-
film us.
Sure.
From VOMP,
Exactly.
right? That,
I don't
Is
think
that,
there's
did I
anybody.
lose my
yet.
privilege of being on camera?
Sorry about that.
Is that what you're saying? I can film us because
Yeah.
I've lost
Yeah.
my privilege.
Yeah. I don't think we have any VOMP.
I said yet, yeah,
Vompers.
hopefully.
Yeah.
we'll grab somebody from, and then we can really talk with them about this.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I mean, there's a couple more, but they're not as interesting, and I don't want to get scolded by Hudson about throwing out ones that aren't that interesting. So,
Fascinating.
The,
what I say.
the-
Fascinating.
yeah.
This is fascinating.
yep, the
I think
fun holiday, which I feel like it comes right in along with Alabama. It's Iced Tea Day today,
Oh,
National Iced Tea Day, which is
I'm not a big iced tea guy.
neither am I.
I would connect that with
Yeah.
Alabama a lot more than Christmas.
True.
Yep.
Or bear fighting. Yep.
Thank you. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for the 11th episode this week. Next week, I don't know what we're going to do for this segment, but maybe Drew will have another surprise. Maybe it'll be something different. Maybe it'll be the same.
Well, I hope it's not Alabama again, because I feel like I've run out of
What would be the next one?
Alabama, Alaska. If we're going alphabetically,
That one might be more interesting. Just because
Ooh.
Alaska's just big.
Bear.
I thought it was fun.
Bear country. That's bear country.
That's Big Bear tribe, and they don't have any laws about.
I bet
I don't know
not.
that yet, but they probably don't have any laws about. You can wrestle any bear you want to up there
You bet.
at your own risk.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a felony B.
No way.
Nope, not in Alaska. That's the last frontier.
Sure is.
I'm already spoiling it because I've got so much Alaska.
You
now.
already know about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
You studied ahead.
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week.